Driverly.com, unlimited drama series.
I never thought my marriage would end because of a porn site. But there I was, Thursday night after another soul-crushing shift at the warehouse, cracking open my third beer and mindlessly clicking through RedTube like some pathetic middle-aged cliché. My name's Jake Morrison, and at 38, I'd become everything I swore I'd never be. A guy whose biggest excitement was watching strangers have the sex life I wasn't getting at home. The video thumbnail looked standard enough. Hot brunette gets wild in bedroom. I clicked it without thinking, already reaching for another beer. But something made me pause. Something familiar about that lamp in the background, that ugly brass thing Samantha had insisted we keep from her grandmother's estate. I leaned forward, squinting at my laptop screen. The camera angle showed a bedroom that looked exactly like mine. Same blue walls, same stupid motivational poster Samantha had hung above the dresser. Love, laugh, love, and cursive script that made me want to vomit every morning. Then the door opened. My wife walked into frame, laughing at something off camera. She was wearing the red lingerie I'd bought her for Valentine's Day. The same lingerie she'd claimed was too flashy when I'd given it to her 6 months ago. Behind her walked Troy Blackwood. I knew Troy from Samantha's PR firm events. Tall, artificially tanned, drove a BMW, and never shut up about his CrossFit routine. The kind of guy who called everyone bro and posted shirtless selfies with inspirational quotes. I watched my wife of 3 years strip off that red lingerie and climb onto my bed with another man. The same bed where she'd claimed headaches for the past 8 months. The same bed where she rolled away from me every night, claiming work stress. Holy shit, I whispered to my empty living room. Holy fucking shit. I rewound the video, checked the upload date, last weekend. The weekend I'd been in Chicago for my cousin's bachelor party. The weekend Samantha said she was having a girls' night with her friend Jenna. My hands shook as I created an account and scrolled through the uploader's profile. Chicago Couple 69 had posted 12 videos over the past 4 months. I recognized our bedroom in every single one. Sometimes it was Troy. Sometimes it was a guy I didn't recognize. Once, horrifyingly, it was both of them. The comments made me sick. Hundreds of strangers discussing my wife's body, my bedroom, my life. Love this MILF. That bed looks comfortable. Wish my girl was this wild. I screenshot everything, downloaded every video, saved every comment. My business degree might have been worthless for starting the consulting firm that failed spectacularly 2 years ago, but I knew how to document evidence. The front door opened. Samantha's heels clicked across the hardwood floor. Jake, I'm home. Her voice carried that fake cheerfulness she'd perfected for her PR job. How was your day, honey? I closed the laptop and turned to face my wife. She looked perfect, as always. Shoulder-length brown hair and a professional bob, makeup flawless despite working a 10-hour day. Her gray business suit probably cost more than I made in a week at the warehouse. Same as always, I said, studying her face for any sign of guilt. Nothing. She was either a sociopath or an incredible actress. How was yours? Exhausting. We're planning the Henderson wedding campaign, and the bride is being impossible. She kicked off her heels and rubbed her temples. I need a glass of wine and a hot bath. The Henderson wedding. I knew that account. Troy's luxury car dealership was sponsoring it. They'd probably planned this whole conversation while they were fucking in my bed. Sounds stressful, I said. She disappeared into the kitchen, and I heard the wine bottle opening. My wife, who claimed she was too tired for sex, too stressed for intimacy, too busy for our marriage, had enough energy to star in amateur porn videos with her coworker. Oh, by the way, she called out, Jenna's engagement party is Saturday night. The whole office will be there. Jenna Martinez, Samantha's best friend and fellow PR manager. The same Jenna who'd helped cover for these girls' nights that were apparently gangbangs in my bedroom. Can't wait, I said. Samantha returned with her wine glass, settling onto the couch beside me. She smelled like expensive perfume and, faintly, like sex. How had I never noticed before? You seem quiet tonight, she said, placing her hand on my knee. the same hand that had been all over Troy Blackwood 6 hours ago. Just tired. She squeezed my knee and smiled. Well, don't stay up too late. Tomorrow's Friday, and I know how much you hate the weekend shift. I'd been working weekends for 8 months to pay off the debt for my failed business. Debt that Samantha reminded me about constantly. Debt that apparently gave her free time to turn our home into a porn studio. Right, I said. No, I wouldn't want to disappoint the boss. She kissed my cheek and headed upstairs. I'm going to take that bath. Don't wait up. I waited until I heard the bathroom door close, then opened my laptop again. The video was still there. My wife's betrayal in high definition, available to anyone with an internet connection. I had 2 weeks until our wedding anniversary. 2 weeks until the big party Samantha had been planning for months. She'd invited everyone we knew. Her family, her coworkers, our neighbors, my few remaining friends. 2 weeks to decide what to do with this information. I opened another beer and started planning. The next morning, I woke up alone. Samantha had already left for work, leaving only a coffee mug in the sink and the lingering scent of her perfume. I called in sick to the warehouse and spent the day doing research. Troy Blackwood was easier to investigate than a reality TV star. His social media presence was extensive and embarrassing. Instagram posts from expensive restaurants, always tagged with locations and times. LinkedIn updates about his successful luxury automotive career. Facebook check-ins at bars, gyms, and hotels. I cross-referenced his posts with Samantha's schedule. Every late work meeting coincided with Troy posting from some upscale restaurant. Every girls' night matched his location tags. They weren't even trying to hide it. But the real goldmine was Troy's TikTok account. The idiot posted constantly, including videos from inside his downtown apartment. The same apartment I'd seen in 3 of the porn videos. He'd literally filmed himself giving apartment tours that included the bedroom where he'd been screwing my wife. I made a list of every lie Samantha had told me over the past 6 months. The work trips that were actually weekend getaways. The family emergencies that were hotel stays. The girls' nights that were threesomes with strangers. My phone buzzed with a text from Ray Kowalski, my only real friend and the owner of Murphy's boxing gym. Beer tonight? You sounded like shit yesterday. Ray had been my roommate in college and my best man at the wedding. If anyone deserved to know what was happening, it was him. I met Ray at O'Malley's pub after his gym closed. He was already 3 beers deep and working on a basket of wings when I arrived. You look like death, he said, sliding a beer across the table. What's eating you? Ray was the kind of guy who could spot bullshit from across a crowded room. 6'2", built like a linebacker, with graying hair and scars on his knuckles, from 20 years of teaching people how to fight. He'd never liked Samantha. Hypothetically, I said, what would you do if you found out your wife was cheating? Ray stopped chewing. Hypothetically? Hypothetically. He set down his beer and leaned back in his chair. Hypothetically, I'd want to know how bad it was before I decided how to handle it. I pulled out my phone and showed him one of the screenshots. Not the graphic stuff, just Troy and Samantha entering my bedroom together. Jesus Christ, Jake. Ray studied the image. When was this? Last weekend, while I was at Danny's bachelor party. In your house? In my bed. Ray was quiet for a long moment. Then he flagged down the waitress and ordered 2 shots of whiskey. How many times? He asked. At least 12 that I can prove. Probably more. The shots arrived. Ray pushed one toward me. 2 hypothetical situations. We drank in silence. You gonna confront her? Ray asked. I don't know. Part of me wants to pack her stuff and leave it on the lawn. Part of me wants to pretend I never saw it. And what does the other part want? I thought about Samantha's fake smile, her constant criticism of my job, my clothes, my friends. I thought about the way she'd recoiled from my touch while enthusiastically fucking strangers in our bedroom. The other part wants to make her pay. Ray nodded slowly. The anniversary party's in 2 weeks, right? The big one at the country club? Yeah, she's invited everyone we've ever met. Lot of witnesses. Lot of witnesses, I agreed. Ray finished his beer and stood up. Whatever you decide, you've got backup. But Jake, don't do anything stupid. Don't give her ammunition to use against you. I spent the weekend pretending everything was normal. Samantha went to Jenna's engagement party Saturday night, claiming she'd be home by 11. She rolled in at 3 a.m., smelling like alcohol and making enough noise to wake the dead. Sunday morning, she was hungover and cranky. How was the party? I asked, making coffee. Fine. Jenna's fiancé is boring, but the ring is gorgeous. She rubbed her temples. I think I'm getting sick. I might need to work from home tomorrow. Working from home? I wondered if that was code for another porn video. That's too bad, I said. Should I pick up some medicine? No, I'll be fine. Just need rest. Monday morning, I called in sick again and drove to the office supply store. I bought a small wireless camera, the kind marketed for home security. The setup was simple enough that even a warehouse worker could figure it out. I installed it in our bedroom, hidden behind the alarm clock on Samantha's nightstand. The angle would capture the entire bed and most of the room. If my wife was going to turn our home into a porn studio, I wanted my own footage. Then I drove to Troy's car dealership. Blackwood Luxury Motors sat on a prime corner lot downtown, all glass and chrome with a row of BMWs and Mercedes gleaming in the afternoon sun. Troy's office was visible through the floor-to-ceiling windows, and I could see him at his desk, probably posting another shirtless gym selfie. I parked across the street and watched. At 2:30, Troy left the dealership and drove toward the residential district. I followed at a distance, my heart pounding with the thrill of finally taking action. He pulled into the driveway of a modest 2-story house. A woman emerged to greet him. Blonde, pretty, wearing yoga pants and a wedding ring. She kissed him on the cheek and they walked inside together. I sat in my car for 20 minutes, taking pictures of Troy's BMW in the driveway, the house number, the woman's face. Then I drove to the public library and used their computers to search property records. The house belonged to Jennifer Blackwood, Troy's wife. My cheating wife was fucking a married man. This was getting better by the minute. Tuesday evening, Samantha announced she'd be working late. The Henderson campaign is behind schedule, she said, not meeting my eyes. I'll probably be at the office until 9 or 10. I nodded sympathetically. That's rough. Want me to save you some dinner? Don't worry about it. I'll grab something with the team. She left at 7, dressed in a short black dress I'd never seen before. I waited 30 minutes, then checked the camera feed on my phone. At 7:45, Troy entered our bedroom. At 7:47, my wife followed him in, already half undressed. They were on my bed by 8 o'clock, and this time I had my own high-definition footage. I turned off the feed and drove to O'Malley's. Ray was there, as I'd known he would be, nursing a beer and watching the Cubs lose to the Cardinals. She's at it again, I said, sliding into the booth across from him. You get proof? I showed him a screenshot from my camera feed. Ray whistled low. That's your bed. That's my bed. What's the plan? I'd been thinking about that all day. Confronting Samantha directly would lead to denials, gaslighting, and probably a divorce, where she'd try to take everything. But public humiliation? That was something she'd never recover from. The anniversary party, I said. 200 guests, open bar, and a slideshow presentation of our happy memories. Ray grinned. You're going to show the videos? I'm going to show everything. The videos, the texts, the hotel receipts I found in her purse. All of it. That's nuclear, Jake. You sure you want to go that route? I thought about Samantha's condescending smile when she criticized my job. Her eye rolls when I suggested date nights. Her constant reminders that I was lucky she'd married me despite my financial situation. She made her choice, I said. Now she gets to live with the consequences. The next few days passed in a blur of preparation. I edited together a slideshow that started innocently enough. Our wedding photos, vacation pictures, family gatherings. Then it gradually shifted to screenshots of Troy's social media posts, timestamped to match Samantha's work meetings. Finally, it culminated with carefully edited clips from the bedroom videos, faces clearly visible, my bedroom unmistakably recognizable. I also did more research on Jenna Martinez. Samantha's best friend had been covering for these affairs, but I suspected there was more to it. A deep dive into her social media revealed frequent posts from the same restaurants and bars where Troy and Samantha had their work meetings. In several photos, I could see Troy in the background. Jenna wasn't just covering for Samantha, she was participating. I created fake social media accounts and started following all the major players. Troy's wife, Jennifer, posted frequently about their perfect marriage and upcoming vacation plans. She had no idea her husband was starring in amateur porn videos with married women. Samantha's sister, Michelle, lived in Phoenix, but maintained an active online presence, constantly sharing articles about family values and the sanctity of marriage. She'd be especially interested in Samantha's extracurricular activities. By Friday, I had everything I needed: the video evidence, the financial records, the social media proof, and most importantly, the guest list for our anniversary party. Every person who mattered in Samantha's life would be there to witness her downfall. That evening, Samantha came home excited about something. "Great news," she said, practically bouncing on her toes.
90 days of calls to the same number. You bought a burner for her.
Give it to me.
One reason not to drop it.
Watch more on Grammarly.com.
The Henderson campaign got approved for a bigger budget. Troy and I are getting a bonus. Troy and I. She didn't even try to hide it anymore. "That's wonderful," I said. "We should celebrate." "Actually, I'm celebrating with the team tonight. Work thing, you understand?" "Of course. Another late night?" "Probably. Don't wait up." She disappeared upstairs to change clothes. I checked my phone and saw that Troy had posted an Instagram story from Chez Laurent, the most expensive restaurant in the city. The story included a photo of champagne glasses and the caption, "Celebrating with my favorite work partner." My wife came back downstairs wearing a red dress that hugged every curve. She looked beautiful, and for a moment I remembered why I'd fallen in love with her. Then I remembered the videos, and the moment passed. "Have fun," I said, kissing her cheek. "Thanks, honey. You're the best." After she left, I called Ray. "Tomorrow night," I said. "The party's tomorrow night. You ready for this?" I looked around our living room. The photos on the mantel showing our fake happy marriage, the expensive furniture Samantha had insisted we buy, even though we couldn't afford it, the life we'd built on lies, and my naive belief that she actually loved me. I'm ready. Saturday arrived gray and drizzly, which seemed appropriate for what I had planned. Samantha spent the morning at the salon, getting her hair and nails done for our special day. I spent it making final preparations. The Riverside Country Club had been Samantha's choice for the venue. All the best people have their events there, she'd said, which was her way of saying it was expensive and pretentious. The ballroom could hold 200 people comfortably, with a stage at one end for the DJ and slideshow presentation. I arrived early to set up the audiovisual equipment. The club's event coordinator, a nervous woman named Mrs. Patterson, helped me connect my laptop to the projection system. "What a lovely way to celebrate your marriage," she said, adjusting the microphone. "Your wife must be so excited." "She has no idea," I said, which was completely true. The guests started arriving at 6. Samantha's family came first. Her parents, her sister Michelle from Phoenix, her brother David, who'd never liked me, and various aunts and cousins I barely knew. They greeted me with the polite coldness they'd perfected over 5 years of marriage. My side was smaller but more genuine. Ray and his wife Susan, my cousin Danny and his new bride, a few guys from the warehouse, and my parents who'd driven up from Springfield. Samantha's work colleagues arrived fashionably late. Troy walked in wearing an expensive suit, his arm around a blonde woman I recognized from my surveillance photos. His wife Jennifer looked happy and unsuspecting, chatting with other guests about their upcoming anniversary cruise. Jenna Martinez made a grand entrance in a silver dress that probably cost more than my monthly salary. She air-kissed Samantha and immediately started taking selfies for her Instagram story. "Jake!" Samantha appeared at my elbow, radiant in a black cocktail dress. "Isn't this wonderful? Everyone we love is here." Everyone she loved, maybe. I looked around the room at the people who'd ignored my business failure, my financial struggles, my obvious unhappiness. These were Samantha's people, not mine. "It's perfect," I said. The cocktail hour passed slowly. I made small talk with relatives and coworkers, accepted congratulations on my beautiful marriage, and watched Samantha work the room like the professional she was. She was in her element, charming and vivacious, the perfect wife celebrating her perfect marriage. Troy stayed close to his actual wife, playing the devoted husband. Occasionally, he and Samantha would exchange glances across the room, little secret smiles that made me want to punch something. At 8 o'clock, the DJ called everyone to attention. Ladies and gentlemen, if you could take your seats, Jake Morrison has prepared a special presentation for his lovely wife, Samantha. The lights dimmed and I walked to the microphone. 200 faces looked up at me expectantly. Samantha sat at the head table, beaming with anticipation. Thank you all for being here tonight, I began, my voice steady despite my racing heart. 5 years ago, I married the woman of my dreams. I thought I knew everything about her. I thought we had no secrets. The slideshow began. Wedding photos filled the screen, showing Samantha and me looking young and happy. The crowd murmured appreciatively. Marriage is about trust, I continued. It's about honesty, commitment, and faithfulness. More photos appeared. Our honeymoon in Hawaii, Christmas mornings, family gatherings. Samantha wiped away a tear, probably thinking this was going to be a sentimental tribute. But sometimes, I said, we discover that the person we married isn't who we thought they were. The photos shifted. Screenshots of Troy's Instagram posts appeared on screen, time-stamped and location tagged. The crowd grew quiet, sensing a change in tone. Sometimes we learn that working late means something very different. Hotel receipts appeared on screen, credit card statements showing charges at expensive restaurants and bars, text message screenshots between Samantha and Troy discussing their meetings and laughing about my ignorance. Samantha's face went white. She started to stand, but I kept talking. And sometimes we discover that our spouse has been starring in amateur pornography videos. The first video clip played, just 5 seconds, but long enough to show Samantha and Troy entering our bedroom together. The crowd gasped. Someone screamed. In our bedroom, I said into the microphone. In our bed, while I was working overtime to pay our bills. More clips played. Different angles, different days, always in our house. The crowd erupted in shocked murmurs and angry shouts. Samantha was on her feet now, her face red with humiliation and rage. Jake, stop this! Stop it right now! The videos are available online, I continued calmly, along with commentary from thousands of strangers who've seen my wife naked. My personal favorite comment was, that husband must be a real loser if she has to get it somewhere else. Troy bolted for the exit, abandoning his wife, who sat frozen in shock. Jenna tried to follow him, but tripped over her high heels and went down hard on the marble floor. But the real betrayal, I said as the final slide appeared, wasn't just the cheating. It was the lying, the gaslighting, the constant criticism of my job, my appearance, my worth as a human being. All while she was fucking her coworker in my bed and charging strangers to watch. The room exploded. Samantha's mother was crying. Her father was shouting obscenities. Jennifer Blackwood was screaming for her husband, who had disappeared into the parking lot. My mother-in-law lunged toward the stage, but Ray intercepted her. So here's to 5 years of marriage, I said, raising my beer bottle in a mock toast. And to my wife, Samantha, who taught me that some people aren't worth loving. I dropped the microphone and walked off the stage. The crowd was in chaos, people shouting and crying and taking pictures with their phones. Within minutes, the videos would be all over social media. Samantha caught up with me in the parking lot. You bastard, she screamed, tears streaming down her face. You fucking bastard! How could you do this to me? How could I do this to you? I laughed, and it felt good. Samantha, you've been prostituting yourself in our bedroom for 6 months. You turned our marriage into a joke and our home into a porn studio. I just made sure everyone knew the truth. You've ruined everything. My career, my reputation, my family. You ruined it, I interrupted. I just showed people who you really are. She slapped me across the face, hard enough to make my ears ring. I didn't flinch. I want a divorce, she said. Good. I've already filed the papers. You'll be served Monday morning. Her face crumpled. Jake, please. We can work this out. We can go to counseling. No, I said. We can't. You made your choice every time you brought another man into our bed. You made your choice every time you lied to my face. You made your choice every time you treated me like I was lucky to be married to you. I got in my car and drove away, leaving Samantha standing in the country club parking lot in her expensive dress, surrounded by the wreckage of her reputation. The videos went viral overnight. By Sunday morning, #cheatingwife and #anniversaryrevenge were trending on Twitter. The local news picked up the story by Monday, running a segment about social media shaming and public humiliation in the digital age. Samantha's PR firm fired her Tuesday morning. The official reason was conduct detrimental to the company's reputation. But everyone knew the real story. You can't represent family-friendly brands when there are porn videos of you available online. Troy's wife Jennifer filed for divorce and took half of everything, including the car dealership. She also sued him for emotional distress and got a restraining order. Troy moved back in with his parents and started working at a used car lot across town. Jenna Martinez tried to distance herself from the scandal, but screenshots of her text messages with Samantha had been included in my presentation. Her own husband left her, and she was demoted at work. She eventually moved to another state. The fallout was swift and merciless. In the age of social media, reputation is everything, and Samantha's was destroyed completely. No PR firm would hire her. Her family cut off contact. Her friends abandoned her. I, meanwhile, became something of a local celebrity. The warehouse guys treated me like a hero. Ray's gym members bought me beers and slapped me on the back. Even strangers recognized me on the street and offered congratulations for handling it like a man. The divorce was finalized in 6 weeks. Samantha got nothing except her clothes and personal belongings. The house, the car, the savings account. Everything stayed with me. Her lawyer tried to argue for alimony, but the adultery evidence made that impossible. 3 months after the anniversary party, I sold the house and moved into a downtown apartment. I used the profit to start a new business, a private investigation service specializing in infidelity cases. Turns out, there's a huge market for catching cheating spouses, and my success story was the best advertising I could ask for. Samantha moved back in with her parents in Ohio. Last I heard, she was working at a grocery store and had gained 40 pounds. The stress of public humiliation, unemployment, and social isolation had taken its toll. I felt no sympathy for her. 6 months later, I was having dinner at a nice restaurant downtown when I saw a familiar figure at the bar. Troy Blackwood, looking older and more desperate than I remembered. His tan had faded, his hair was thinning, and his expensive suit had been replaced by a cheap polyester blend. He saw me and walked over, swaying slightly from whatever he'd been drinking. "Jake," he said, his voice slurred. "Can we talk?" "Nothing to talk about, Troy. Look, I know what we did was wrong, but did you have to destroy everything?" Samantha lost her career, her family, her whole life. I set down my fork and looked at him. "You fucked my wife in my bed and filmed it for strangers to watch. You helped her lie to me for months. You turned my marriage into a joke and my home into a porn studio. What exactly did you think was going to happen? We never meant for you to find out. That makes it worse, not better." Troy slumped against the table. "My wife took everything. The house, the business, the kids. I'm living in a studio apartment and selling used Hondas for minimum wage." "Good. Jesus, Jake. Don't you have any compassion?" I thought about that question. Did I have compassion for the man who'd helped destroy my marriage? For the woman who'd betrayed me in the most intimate way possible? For the friends who'd covered for them and the family who'd looked down on me? "No," I said, "I don't." Troy stared at me for a long moment, then walked back to the bar. I finished my dinner and went home to my new apartment, where I spent the evening reviewing case files for my growing business. The next morning, I got a call from a potential client. Her husband was acting suspicious, staying late at work, being secretive with his phone. She wanted proof of what he was doing. "I can help you," I told her, "but you need to understand something. Once you know the truth, you can't unknow it. And if your husband is cheating, the evidence, I gather, will destroy his life." "Good," she said, her voice hard with determination. "He made his choice. Now he gets to live with the consequences." I smiled and opened a new case file. Business was good. A year after the anniversary party, I received a wedding invitation in the mail. Ray was remarrying his ex-wife, and he wanted me to be his best man again. You sure about that? I asked when he called to follow up. I'm not exactly known for my romantic speeches anymore. You're known for telling the truth, Ray said. That's exactly what I want. The wedding was small and intimate, held at Murphy's boxing gym with folding chairs and takeout food. Ray's ex-wife Sarah had left him 3 years earlier for a younger man, but the relationship had imploded, and she'd come back asking for forgiveness. I thought about what you did to Samantha, Ray told me as we waited for the ceremony to start. The public humiliation, the total destruction. Part of me wanted to do the same thing to Sarah. What stopped you? She came back on her own. She admitted what she'd done, apologized genuinely, and asked for a second chance. She didn't lie or make excuses or try to blame me. She took responsibility. I nodded. Samantha never did that. No, Ray agreed. She didn't. The ceremony was beautiful in its simplicity. When Ray and Sarah exchanged vows, they acknowledged their past mistakes and promised to do better. There was no pretense, no performance for social media, just two people who'd learned from their failures. During the reception, Sarah approached me. Ray told me what happened with Samantha, she said. I'm sorry you went through that. Thank you. Can I ask you something? Do you ever regret how you handled it? The public humiliation, I mean? I considered the question. Did I regret destroying Samantha's life? Did I regret the nuclear option that had left her unemployable and friendless? No, I said. She had every opportunity to be honest with me. She could have asked for a divorce if she was unhappy. Instead, she chose to humiliate me privately while maintaining the facade of a happy marriage. I just made the humiliation public. Sarah nodded slowly. I guess everyone gets what they deserve in